It's not cute and it's not as beneficial. What concept do you want them to understand when they look at your collections? Hey guys, what is up? My name is Michaela Smith Campbell, the fashion designer and the founder for the fashion design brand MACK Smith, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I am very excited because I am going to be going over things you need to know before designing a collection, and this video is mainly for all designers out there, fashion designers, especially if you're making your collection from scratch. And I'm talking about sourcing the fabric, designing the concept, illustrations, OrCAD sketches. I'm talking about also creating the patterns and sewing, everything. Especially if you're a designer and this might be your first time designing a collection, this video is definitely for you. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and also give this video a thumbs up as well. For the first step in designing a collection, it really can be used for anybody, even stylists out there, not just designers. It is finding your identity and knowing your identity first before even doing anything else before designing a collection. And this part is so important because your identity and who you are can translate into your style, all the way down to your fabric selection, your color scheme collection, your silhouette shapes. Your identity is always shown throughout your work, and I think it's super important to identify it. Identifying can simply be who you are. If you're somebody who, for example, maybe you might have a background in architecture, or maybe you grew up around different architecture or art or pieces of artwork, and you often feel like when you do design, you often create architectural sculpture pieces. Your identity definitely translates into your work. So finding your identity and finding what works for you really makes a huge impact in whatever you do creatively. You just got to figure out what you're drawn to, what your backstory is that you often find yourself thinking about, reminiscing about, and what makes you happy, just your story, who you are. And comment below too, you guys, if you want me to do a separate video on finding your identity. I'm more than happy to do a video on helping you find ways to find your identity and a lot of your style and designs on a much deeper scale. Definitely comment below if you guys want a video on that. So the second step is figuring out your target market, and this is very important, you guys. Your target market, it's really hard to create a collection if you don't know who you're targeting for. I know for me, when I started designing like years ago, I would just think of designs that I myself would wear, and oftentimes when designing a collection, it doesn't easily translate to, especially if you want to sell your pieces, it doesn't easily translate to your audience, and it's really hard to develop a concept based and relatable to your audience. So it's so important to find a target market that you want to relate to or sell your collection to. And a target audience, you have to figure out the gender. Is this male? Is this female you want to design for? You want to figure out the age group that you're targeting your collection for. You definitely want to figure out price points for your target market. Are you creating a collection that maybe has a lot more finer fabrics? Is this for a higher end collection? Is this middle income or affordable? So you have to figure out what your price point is going to be for your collection. And then of course, in the second step, your product type. So is this going to be business wear? Is this going to be casual wear? Is this going to be active wear? So you have to figure out what kind of products in your collection you will be designing for. And then of course, we can't miss this. We have to know the season, because your fabrics and your design choices are going to be heavily based on the season. So if you are doing winter, fall season for the next year, you will be most likely having thicker, heavier fabrics. And then of course, if you're doing summer, spring collections, you're going to be doing a lot lighter organza kind of fabrics that are a lot more lightweight for the hotter and warmer months of the year. So the next step in designing a collection is knowing and figuring out your concept. what are you communicating to your audience and to your customers when creating a collection? What is the story you're trying to give? What emotion are you trying to create the audience to have, so when they're done viewing your collection, they feel and they understand your storyline, and they understand why you chose the fabrics you chose, or the colors, or the print you chose, why the silhouettes you chose to better create your concept, a storyline. And I think when you do have a very clear storyline and concept to your collection, it just easily translates your message and what you want your viewers to know and understand after they're done. And this is another way to gain a connection with your audience, is this concept that you portray throughout your collection and your designs. What concept do you want them to understand when they look at your collections? A concept could be a political concept based on what the current political events are. They could be bringing awareness to something, whether it could be, for example, something related to sustainability, your ethnic background, your sexual orientation. So what is the concept connected to? What is a storyline and concept? Are you bringing awareness? Is it something based on political events? What are you communicating? What emotion do you want your viewers to feel when looking at your collection? And remember, leaving your collection. So after understanding your identity, your product type and target market, and your concept storyline, the next step would be to create a mood board / inspiration board. And for me, I love this part. This is the most fun part because this is definitely getting into the more visual aspect of your collection. And for the mood board, this is collecting pictures from online, magazines, or taking pictures personally yourself. I love to take pictures of things that I'm inspired by, and it doesn't even have to be clothes, you guys. I highly recommend not taking pictures or using pictures that you find online or in magazines of clothes, because oftentimes when you do have clothes and outfits, it doesn't even become inspiration. Sometimes it becomes imitation, and you find yourself staring at your mood board, and then you want to use that same sleeve that you found from your favorite designer, or you want to use the same kind of silhouettes that you found in a magazine. And sometimes you often find yourself imitating the same exact kind of silhouette, the same fabric choices, or the same color story, and oftentimes you kind of start to lose your own concept and gravitate and copy someone else's concept. So I highly recommend, when you do create a mood board or inspiration board, you collect pictures that are not fashion pieces like jackets, clothing items, and just pieces that you find that are inspired to you. And your mood board is supposed to reflect your concept. So when you're looking at your mood board and you find all these pictures and you get a collection of different pictures, you should be able to ask yourself, okay, what am I feeling looking at this mood board? What colors are often popping up that reflect my concept and are going to reflect my story? And for your mood board, just observe what you collected the most of. And you guys, for the mood board, another tip I highly recommend is not just finding all your pictures online. And the best, or one of like the best websites and apps that we all know, is Pinterest. Pinterest has amazing quality pictures, very colorful. You can find so much in Pinterest for inspirational pieces. So it's very beautiful, but I highly recommend gathering your pictures from different sources, not just online. So you can find them, yes, online, but often magazines. You can find them from books to cut out. You can find them from newspapers, again, taking pictures yourself, and just collecting different sources so that it's not just all on, you know, just one magazine or just one. And when you are looking, don't just look in fashion too, you guys. You can look in like home decor items. You can collect pictures from, you know, the National Discovery magazines, and just find what you like and find what you think best represents your concept. And just, there are just so many different ways you can find inspiration other than just looking at your favorite designer collections, because oftentimes that inspiration becomes imitation. The next step is definitely finding your color swatches as well as fabric swatches. Your fabric and color swatches definitely need to correlate with your concepts and definitely need to correlate the concept. I think this is a big piece when you do have fabrics. For example, like I said, if your concept wants to be something an architectural, like more of like an architectural because you're relating it to you growing up in the city. So you wanted the concept and storyline to be something with architecture in it because it could relate to you. Maybe in your childhood, you grew up in the city. So to correlate with that concept, your fabrics are going to be, you know, more structured. We're going to see more boning in your fabrics, for example. So your fabric choices and your color schemes are very important when it comes to correlating the message in your designs and collection. And then of course too, if you are creating a collection for the fall winter season, you're going to have a lot thicker fabrics, heavier fabrics, warmer fabrics than you are obviously if you're doing spring or summer collection. And then the next step is definitely sketching your looks. Once you have all of those previous steps nailed down, you already know what kind of concept you have. You already know the kind of fabric choices, how the fabrics drape, how the fabrics stand up on their own. You already have that idea. And you guys, the best way to sketch out, this is how I do my sketches. I will literally print out several pages of croquis mannequins, and then I would just get a regular mechanical pencil and just sketch out quickly ideas in my head of a collection. If you, for example, if you're having like a 10 to 15 piece collection, if I'm doing evening wear as my product type, I am going to be focusing on dresses. So what I would do is I would draw several dresses until I literally run out of ideas based on my mood board, whether I'm referencing my mood board for the shapes of the dresses, silhouettes of the dresses, the drapery of the dresses. I will draw out in a mechanical pencil on a croquis that I printed out on several pages, and then I would pick my top 3 to 5 that I really love at the end. And then say, for example, if it's evening wear, I would probably do maybe dressy blazers or dressy pants. I would do several pages of pants, several pages of blazers, and just sketch those out really quick and then pick my top 5. And then after, I would look over everything and then just pick the best pieces that go together that I really love. And then once I pick my best pieces that I go together and really love, then that's when you can add the details like the zipper placement, button placement, closures, boning details, shoulder pad details. Just for example, you definitely sketch looks depending on how many looks that you're going to create. I just use 10 to 15 looks, for example. Definitely just do more than needed. Don't do exactly just those 10 looks when sketching. As you keep pushing your creative scope and continue to push yourself to draw as many dresses that you can think of based off of your mood board and what you're trying to portray in your concept, you might not like your first 5. You might not like your first 20 quick sketches. So I would just say keep drawing and sketching out. And these sketches are quick sketches, you guys. I'm not talking about like the final illustrations. I'm talking about just quick sketches, paper and a pen kind of sketch, and just figuring out what you like. And then when you do pick your top look from your sketches, definitely mix and match. Like if you're doing pants and you love pants on this croquis and you love a blazer on this croquis, mix and match it, you know, to get certain looks. And it's very important that these looks are relatable to your target market and also relatable to the concept that you're trying to create. And then of course, when you do pick your sketches, you can finalize them. I know there are some people who don't always love this step, but I would definitely recommend doing CAD sketches and their computer-aided design sketches. And those are on computer. For me, I use Adobe Illustrator to do my detailed flat sketches. So when I'm done doing my pencil quick sketches, I go on Adobe Illustrator and I redo all of my looks that I already organized together from my 5-minute sketches onto Adobe Illustrator on the computer. And for that step, it really does help me figure out the details, if it looks good, like button placement looks good that way I imagine, and just like easier little fine details that are really important to not over miss. And 2, when you're doing CAD sketches on the computer, you also have to think, okay, would this zipper be the appropriate zipper for this kind of fabric? Like, for example, you're not going to have one of those big bulky zippers on a tulle fabric. It's not cute and it's not as beneficial as an invisible zipper would be. You know, just thinking when you start doing the little details as you're doing it, sometimes things might change because you might overlook little details like, you know, your fabric. So always, for me, I think this step, I know everybody's not a fan of computer aided design, but for me, I think it is very beneficial if you want a great collection. And of course, from your illustrations, your final illustrations, that's when you can start creating your patterns as well as these samples with the patterns and doing fittings, appropriate fittings based on whatever size range you're going to be doing to further finalize your collection and sew using your final fabrics to complete your collection. Comment below if you guys have any question or if you guys have ever created a collection on your own. What was the most hardest and difficult part for you, if you guys had any, in creating a collection? And yeah, let me know below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up as well. And thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.